I think one of the things that causes so much trouble, not just in the church, but certainly in the church, is the difficulty or the reluctance that people have to communicate, um, unless that communication is somehow clothed in some kind of a normative framework. But just to speak one's feelings and one's position in the world is hugely challenging, apparently. The idea is that somehow if I'm communicating something that other people don't agree with, then I'm going to have to be silenced, or I'm going to have to silence somebody else. We all have to be on the same page. Why? We're all different, aren't we? Um, the church that I was attending for quite a long time, and that was one of the main problems that I had. The preacher had a position on everything, and there was just no room for any kind of discussion. And people, like in a cult, you're not allowed to sing outside of the choir. But there's no harm in those things. I mean, we all have our own positions and our opinions, and we're driven by our own, family history and trauma and our daily lives. And communication is absolutely essential. This is why the community centres have started to replace the churches, surely. But that's the job of the church. We understand that, Jesus Christ is Lord, and Him crucified. We have certain basic tenets that we'll never abandon. But within that framework, surely, we can speak of many things together. But it was not to be allowed, to the point where in the previous church they'd got to actually reading a book written by some fellow, by J.C. Ryle, whose communications were deemed to be appropriate, but our words apparently not. He was on message because the preacher agreed with him. At least there was a certain measure of communication in that church, whereas the Baptist church that I attended recently, I mean, all you can do is sit and listen to the elected preacher. He reads from the Bible, he reads the sermon, he calls out the hymns, he reads out the notices, and then he proclaims very long and laborious prayers. And there are, 50 or 60 people or maybe more, and some just sitting and listening for an hour or an hour and a half. How is that a good thing? Why is the burden of communication placed upon one man? Do we not want to hear anybody else's troubles and opinions and views? I really can't understand it. I'm very reluctant to attend an assembly like that. I didn't enjoy school for exactly those reasons. I mean, let's hear different voices, let's hear different opinions, and let's hear different. People have troubles and they might want to share them. People have had insights and they might want to share them. We don't all have to agree, or we just have to have a sense of community and sharing. Surely this can be done.